Everybody was made aware that he lost the election, but that doesn't mean that that was the only advice he was given. As anybody understands what happens in the Oval Office, there are a numerous amount of advisors and politicians and lawyers, not just one or two, that are giving you advice and telling you what they believe is true.
That tiny little clip of Alina Habba, technically a lawyer, I think, for Trump, is amazing for like 3 different reasons. The first reason is what everyone's focusing on, which is she's admitting that Donald Trump was told by a number of people, high-ranking Republicans that for some reason are respected, that he'd lost the election. So he cannot simply claim that no one brought that up to him or whatever. That to me is like maybe the least interesting part of the clip, even though that's what people are focusing on. And we can talk about that. The second thing though is, but that's not the only advice he was given. You know, that's what we're saying. He was told he lost, but he was given advice on how to not lose anyway. That's sort of the genesis of this entire criminal conspiracy, or all 3 or 4 of these criminal conspiracies. I'm glad that she understands that. But anyway, and also, of course, you have once again the next step in what seems to be their legal strategy, Brett, of he was just given bad advice. Donald Trump isn't responsible for what he did. He was just given bad advice. And I'll throw one added thing in there, because again, it's chock full of stuff. It demonstrates that they are obsessed with, in a way that seems utterly irrelevant to the trial, with whether he really believed it. He didn't. He's admitted to multiple people that are on record saying that he knows that he lost the election. But you cannot do the things he did, whether you believe it or not. And they're very clear in the indictment, which as to this point, Brett, none of them appear to have read. But what do you make of all that?
I think she just misspoke. Like she had to have misspoke. And I just think she's bad at this. Is that weird to say? Like, he was told he lost the election, but that was not the only advice he was given. Being told you lost the election isn't advice, it's information.
Yeah, that's true.
And so what she said as advice, that was not the only information he was given, is probably what she meant to say. But this whole thing just completely sweeps past what's actually happening in that office. And we all know what's happening in that office is there's the people who are like, I'm here so this entire country / world doesn't go off the rails. My only skill is convincing Trump that I'm on his side. And slowly, secretly keeping the world on its rails. That's what they think is the deep state, but I think it's just like normal human beings being like, this guy's crazy. But then there's other people in that room that are like, that fantasy world you want, Donald? You can have it because I'm just a person in this room giving you advice / information. And I will conveniently say, a lot of people are saying you won and it's all rigged, like you've been saying. Actually, I'm just giving you back to you, and you're so narcissistic that you love every bit of this. Yeah, that's what's happening. And what's horrible about their argument is that after 4 years of presidenting, my guy is so still stupid about presidenting. He's been in charge of America, but he doesn't know how it was designed to work. This thing that he wants to make great again, you can't make it greater againer than the way the founders set up this process. Like that is how it was from the beginning. And their argument is Donald Trump, if I had a job for 4 years and I still didn't know how it worked, I should be fired.
I think that you've done a pretty good job of avoiding people at TYT figuring that out up until this point.
John,
which is your skill.
So happy that just, anyway, I didn't even understand that because I'm so good at everything.
I know, you're great. But no, you're totally right, including about their skill set and why they're selected. Alina Habba, I think like this, you could fact check this. I think that she did real estate law or something but she's just, it's about loyalty. It's who is willing to come out and say things that they definitely don't believe as a sign of loyalty to the boss. That's it.
Also, he casted her, let's be honest. He casted her as his lawyer. He didn't.
Central casting.
Yeah.
As he always says.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.